take from 110 million American families, take their hard-earned money, and we bail out these lenders and these speculators, many of which are guilty of criminal or fraudulent acts. They trap people into this.
My good friend from Alabama, and both of us go to the Department of Justice, the SEC, and begin to file legal action against the unscrupulous investors on Wall Street who took these mortgages knowing that they had a cheap deal. If he will join me, we'll walk down to the Department of Justice right now to get the Attorney General to begin filing major litigation against these scandalous, unscrupulous individuals, if that's what he would like to do.
Failure of the first payment on 18% of the mortgages in 2006. I can't believe that somebody didn't say, wow, we may have a problem if 18% of the people we're giving mortgages to don't make the first installment payment.
A lot of it was fraud.
There needs to be a RICO-type action. Criminal prosecution of all those people who were involved in knowingly creating this system. So no, this wasn't something about a normal cyclical of a housing boom bust. This was engineered.
Are hanging on by their fingernails on their houses. Millions of families are losing their homes. An average of 7,500 people every day in this country are filing for foreclosure on their homes.
As we Americans who are hurting. But to describe the economic challenges that we face today as the worst economic times since the Great Depression is at least a slight exaggeration. Mr. Speaker, let's not lie to the American people. Let's tell them the truth. Let's provide leadership.
Toward a 1929 depression, and I don't know why the other
will be point blank to the woman. The gentlewoman said we're headed to a recession like 1929.
Are you calling me a liar?
And that is not a true statement.
Well, I am. I'm just asking.
It's not a true statement.
Gentleman from Texas.
It's not a true statement. It's not a true statement. We are not. We've not blown through.
Calling me a liar on the floor of the House.
We have not blown through any sort of recession to get to.
Gentleman will suspend.
And that is plain and obvious.
Is the gentleman calling me a liar?
The gentlelady will suspend.
An estimated 1.7 million families have lost their homes, and at least another 2 million remain at risk.
This is a mess. Because I got to tell you, something doesn't smell right.
We find ourselves in a very serious situation, a crisis, not too strong a word, in America. We have high food prices, we have high energy prices, and many of our citizens are under stress in paying their mortgages. 54 million American families make a mortgage payment each month. An additional 34 million American families make a rent payment every month. I would say that a great percentage of those are under stress. There's 25 million Americans who own their own home or don't have a mortgage, and some of them are under stress. Now, we all agree that foreclosures are serious, they're bad for the community, but we fundamentally disagree in how we address the problem. I, for one, most of my colleagues say, let's not take from the 34 million American families who are renting, let's not take their tax dollars. Let's not take from the 51 million American families who are paying a mortgage payment, many of them struggling. Let's, under high gas prices, high food prices, let's not take from those other 25 million American families who don't have a mortgage on their home. Let's not take from them and reward lenders who unwisely extended credit, because that's what this bill is about. It's not about benefiting borrowers, because the guarantee doesn't go to borrowers, it goes to lenders. 3 years ago, we started an effort to rein in subprime lending abuses. And the lenders came before us and they lobbied and they killed our efforts to bring some structure and some control over the mortgage market. They said, thanks, but no thanks. You stay out. But now that the chickens have come home to roost, they've come back in and said, bail us out. And they're turning to 110 million American families and saying, we need $300 billion. These are speculators. Many of them speculated. Many of them are investors on Wall Street who bought high-risk, high-yield, structured investment vehicles containing these mortgages. And now they're saying, we're in trouble, and they're saying, we want to offload these bad loans onto the government. And we'll decide today whether we take from 110 million American families, take their hard-earned money, and we bail out these lenders and these speculators, many of which are guilty of criminal or fraudulent acts. They trap people into these loans, and when the loans have become illiquid, they've asked for the taxpayers to come in and stand behind it. This program is, and y'all have said to us, or you have said, it's a voluntary program. Absolutely, it's voluntary. The lender can choose which loans he offloads on the federal government. Which loans will he offload? He'll offload his bad loans. He'll offload the very worst of the loans. And the American taxpayer, those I represent, who are making those rent payments, who are making those mortgage payments, and don't assume that those 51 million American families who are making their mortgage payment, don't assume they're not under stress. When you say we're going to share the pain, why would you ask a renter or an American family that's paying their bills to share the pain? They have enough pain.
The gentleman from Vermont.
And we need to talk about this. We're facing a solvency crisis. The Federal Reserve, just in the past 6 months, has taken in almost $500 billion worth of what I consider, in some cases, low-quality securities from the banks. Now,